So you don't have all those more or less the deal and the way you care for areas which is not able, so like you have to say that you will straight or later, that's the interest of the bank bid. So where does it come from? Where does it come from to institute a medical knowledge that someone is Messiah in Shas or Messiah in another sector, or for that matter, any tremendous ruchnistic accomplishment, or less than tremendous, but any ruchnistic accomplishment, where does it come from to make a class in a shul? So the truth is, before we made the first Siyum Hashas, we were discussing it, and if you still remember the Sikha of Purim Chovevei, which will play over here 3 minutes of that Sikha, a very powerful Sikha, where the Rebbe discusses the importance of making a class at the Ruchnistic accomplishments and achievements.
Und dort sind wir وتكونشات الصوت والحوض والراجل والعباية والخروج والخروج جرت الهيئة ونتبيت لعبارة المشيرة نتبيت وجاءت النتبيت كنت تلاقى كنت رأس الجبال والرسول معك تحويعها وتنغط الناس الشرطيس والناس الشعبان ومن ذلك فاتت الزميل ناس الشعبان يستيقظ فيه عشان تكون تعليم فلان الشرطيس الكل إذا تشعر في الوقت مع الوقت وأحسن من الوقت السيدة عشان تكون في درجة بعد الشوط زي كيف زي هو زي ميزة برضه زي ما حسيت من هذا السنين عايزين يوصلون الصورة عبالي والعبر والشيء العقلية جدا الأمور كل البروتين مع الأولى كل الفرق إذا تنفعل إذا تنفعل ذكور تكون عبود إن ليس عبود من ليس رشد وذلك عمله بيقول ذلك مكان ذلك القتل ذلك الإنبار ذلك الرفيق ذلك الرحمن العظيم مع تكون حاول صليح على الكفر كيف تعطي تحليل تدريسه مرضي وقول نظرت تنمو المصطلحات كليا عن الجيرة وقال حال كل جميع في بلاد بين عملية عقبان والجزيرة والرياض التجارة عشانيك ما في قضاء فساد الدين كده عقيمة بين النظام كده تدعو كان يمكن مع الجوار بحشيك عن الله مجهولة بحشيك الزعب كده تحدود الشغال وقطع الله مع الجوار ونعلم قول البعض كده شديد عليه bring into the region of the Europe, عفوا اليورو سكولة معاكم من مثل خليات الإسرائيل اليورو عميد إسرائيل مع بدين الشيخ الكيلو بقال المعنى.
The approach to Chemo. The Chovevei of Mendel made it easier. One of the things that Adelman mentions is that for the person that learns Goyish things, he receives a tremendous reward and awards. And for the person that knows X amount of block and lot about that, garnet. So the Chovevei of Mendel will present it with something much more than garnet.
Siyum Hashas speech, so I'll have to cut it down just a lot. So Gemara said this Kedushin, that Mendel phase of the story that happened in the house of Lod, I forgot the guy's name, but there was an argument between Rabbi Tarfon and the Chachamim, what is greater, living a Torah or Maisa? So we have to go back and forth, but he said, Maisa the Pile, that all the Talmidei Chachamim agree with him that Maisa, no, I'm sorry. Learning is much greater than Maisa. Why? Because learning leads to Maisa. So the Aaron said this Yuma cries out and screams, and he says it's such a shut that there's so many Talmidei Chachamim that don't know how to bring practical Gemara into halacha. They don't know how to pass on it. So Mendel, all your friends, every single buck in yeshiva plus outside help chipped in for all these farm, but there's background behind these farm. These farm will help you be able to pass in halacha l'maisa. We have the tour, we have the shulchan, we have the Mishnah Berurah, we have the Biscuit Shublish, we have the Maharal, the whole truck outside, the last. And so Bez Hashem Mendel will become a very basic, which we need in the start, and yeah. So that was for the farm and Mendel also. story between Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef and Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef asked the Rebbe a question. He asked him, who's the like guard certain thing. So Rebbe told him, and he told him 40 times until Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef got it straight. There's another story in Aaron that Mendel and Aleph, where Rabbi Kedera had a Talmud, which he had to teach him something 400 times. Not just something, every single thing he learned, he had to teach him 400 times. So when I was learning these two Gemaras, I was thinking in my head, Mendel had a Talmud, and the Gemara missed out his name. That person was me. For the past 2.5 years, Mendel was my person, and I would like to personally, from the heart of my body, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to sincerely thank Mendel for everything you gave me, for all your hard work, for sitting there for hours, just repeating stuff over and over and over again, and just for being there for me. Mendel, Mendel again. And ladies, there's water in this room that I'm sure Mendel will not be able to make the same if not possible for him. Lady, one thing was his Kabbalah. So, keep it up.
Before we're going to hear from Rosh Hashanah Rabbi Winner, I want to ask Mendel's Menahel from last year, Rabbi Posner, to share a few words. First, for hosting this event. It's a very honor and pleasure to be part of this. To get to Mendel and Siyum Hashas. So, the context of the relationship that Mendel and myself had is one in which my role was, aside from certain aspects of legal, was also where we live see this together. We know that, put that into context, so it becomes easier to address certain aspects from a more humanistic way, a way that maybe doesn't just address the glamorous and flowery aspect of Mendel's accomplishment.
in a gathering such as this one. So it's very important that since Bachman and Yeshiva are part of one family and we're celebrating together with Mendel, so it has to have something, there must be something that's relevant, that's going to get out to every single one of us, even if we're not the ones that actually made the Siyum, and even if we're not the ones that are expecting to make a Siyum Hashas anytime soon. There's a Husta story, well-known story, about one of the Talmidei Amadim that there was a Yid that approached him and said that he read something in one of the secret Kabbalah, and he wants to point out that he discovered that it's not accurate. So what did you read and what's not accurate about it? He said, I read that if somebody fasts 40 days, at the end of 40 days, he's going to have kili on. I tried it. At the end of the 40 days, I didn't have kili on. So it must be that the Kabbalah was wrong. So the time when the mind looks at it and says, when he responds to it, instead of this. It's well known that the Baal Shem Tov had Kitzas Haderech. Despite that he had Kitzas Haderech, so it's like he didn't really need to have a horse and a wagon to be able to get to his destinations. He had Kitzas Haderech. It wasn't necessary to have the tools of transportation that he used. Despite that, we know that he had a Balagola, and he would get onto his wagon, and he would tell us that his Balagola specific destination that he was headed towards. And that would take him here instantaneously. The question is, why did he need to have a horse in the buggy, a horse in the wagon, if the actions are there? The fear was because he wanted to have something in Gashmius that it shouldn't appear as if it's such a tremendous miracle, such something that's a wild activity. So the Talmidei Amadim continues to explain. He says as follows: that one time the Baal Shem Tov got to his wagon and he gave his Balagola specific instructions for a destination, a place to go. The Balagola tells the horses where to go, and of course, within a short amount of time, they got to the destination. Once they got there, the Baal Shem Tov on this trip intended to make several different stops. And so they got out of the wagon, and normally when they would get to their destination, the horse would go, and he would give the horse food, and the horse would eat, and people would go to the inn and do whatever they had to do. They would out, they would learn, they would rest up a little bit to them, and then possibly later they would eat. In this case, they sent the passengers went into the inn, Hashem went into the inn, but the horse was waiting outside because we move on somewhere else. So the horse starts thinking to himself, as the Talmidei Amadim, that maybe I became like a person, because the people go there and they don't eat, and they're not giving me to eat, because the horse is just waiting outside, so maybe I became like a person. A few minutes later, the passengers come back out, they move on, they go to the next stop, and the same thing happens, they go in, and they don't give the horse to eat, because they're still stopping somewhere else. So the horse now is making I'm not like a person, I'm like a malach, I don't have to eat this rock. And a few minutes later, the passengers come back out to the wagon, the shuttle goes on, they come to their final destination. They come to their final destination, finally, they take the horse into the stable, and after not eating the first two stops, there's food, and refresh avodah tambo of the avodah tambo of the tongue is the avodah of the Torah. Avodah tambo is within the context of a certain hanacha. Whoever spells it out very clearly. Hanacha is the side of the background for it. It's the key to being Matzliach in Torah. And that key is Hanacha Satzusa. And you can have Hula Torah, but if it's not coming from, if it's not backed up by Hanacha Satzusa, it's not motivated by Hanacha Satzusa, so you can consume the whole shot, and you remain the same thing, nothing changed. We remain the same facts, nothing really changed. The same person I always were. It didn't define us at all, it didn't change our perspective, it didn't change our approach, and how we're supposed to be a greater chassid. We really got a chassid, a greater Talmud, etc. And then there's learning Torah as an avodah tambo. Learning Torah, because this is the beginning and motivated by the Hanacha Satzusa. This is what Torah demands from me. This is what my avodah life is. And that's why I'm cutting the cheshek and involvement to really throw myself into learning. And eventually I can accomplish certain goals that to many seem unattainable. So what's the bottom line? Going back to Mendel, it was in David. So there was always this tug of war between Siyum and Mendel. It was an unspoken, I guess it was unspoken, we spoke about it, but we all knew that Mendel was, had a schedule, he was doing stuff like that. He was covering ground. Now Mendel all starts from Hashas, so he would attend Seder, as soon as Shabbat was supposed to. He would come 7:30 in the morning, and he would open up his, what was it, Tzalachet, and sometimes you're able to tell that he spent a lot of time last night covering ground and accomplishing things. And that's why sometimes the Samachay would serve other purposes other than being read. And this tug of war wasn't in any way, it's a very delicate and sensitive balance. You don't want to discourage it up or do what it's supposed to do. And on the other hand, actually demand. But one thing is clear, that Mendel, there was never a Mehila in the concept and the say of Kabbalah Selah and Hashas Satzusa. I don't know how things are in the Torah, which I'm assuming, sure they're continuing the same path. But to Mendel's credit, even if there was sometimes a lack in the enthusiasm, the kindness in other areas of Seder, but it never took away from the basic Hebrew from the basic status quo, that there's no such thing as a buffer sitting there and really looking at activities in every part of his responsibility to say that was here. Therefore, we say with confidence that this definitely gives an asura to the end. It's definitely something that we can all look up to, something that we will learn from. And there's no question that continue this path, and we learn from this, then there's a Hashem, maybe possibly be Mashiach, I don't know. And possibly even more than that, or not more than that, I mean in that sense. It'll do the same, have an effect on the people around you, have an effect on yourself. I guess you're saying that Siyum has to be connected to the Haskalah. There's another aspect of the Siyum, that a Siyum always has to be connected to the next commitment. With Hashem, the next commitment is going to be finish your task again, I guess. But in addition to that, also, with the Sichos, Ha'avah, Ha'ibez, because Achayim, and others. And that's all around. It's many years in the house.
After these big conclusion that the proposal said, I want to say that Mendel's, celebrating Mendel's finishing Shas. The reality is this is the second time he finished Shas. When was the first time he finished Shas? And when was the Suda the first time he finished Shas? Well, the Gemara says that a baby before it's born, so you learn Shas once before. And the Shalom Zachar, one of the reasons for Shalom Zachar is that the baby is upset that he lost, he forgot the Shas. And Kol HaKei Kuba, also the Sichos and Samachavav and Ayimeis and the Kurtzei Tzakayim that Rabbi Posner is speaking. So learn all that stuff before. About one Shas, he made the second Siyum on Shas. What's that the reason? What's the point? What's the point? First, they teach him Kol HaKei Kuba, and then they make him forget Kol HaKei Kuba. So what's the point of teaching him the Torah and then making him forget the Torah? So there's a lot that has been written and said about this. There's a secret cake where the Rebbe gives his English before. And the Rebbe says that a person on his own, if he wouldn't learn Torah before he would be born, and all of his learning would be only the learning that he does with Shalom Guf, he wouldn't be able to reach the tachlis of Torah, the way Torah is learned Lamata, the way Torah is an Avos Atzilus, I think he says in Russian. So, in order for a person to reach that level of Torah, that has to come when the person